This giant ship was dying until a human mechanic turned it into an ultimate weapon. The stars stretched endlessly, cold and silent, as if the galaxy itself had forgotten this place. Floating among the void was a ship so massive that it blotted out distant starlight. Its hull was scarred with centuries of battle, panels hanging loose, engines silent. Once, it had been a symbol of power, a flagship that led entire fleets into war. Now, it drifted like a corpse in space. Most beings would pass it by, ignoring it as nothing more than a relic. But Eli Voss didn't. Eli was human. Short, wiry, and quick with his hands, he carried an air of calm confidence that seemed impossible for someone his size. His ship, a battered freighter patched together with parts from a dozen different worlds, approached the derelict with careful precision. He had heard rumors of this ship, of the incredible ancient technology locked inside. The galaxy's rich and powerful had declared it worthless, a pile of dying metal. But Eli had a saying, where others see death, humans see opportunity. Docking was dangerous. The derelict's docking bay had been ripped open long ago, and its stabilizers were offline. One wrong move could send his ship bouncing into the hull with catastrophic force. Yet Eli maneuvered perfectly, as if the ship could feel his hands guiding it. He stepped into the wreck, his boots echoing against the hollow corridors. The air was stale, filled with the metallic scent of rust and old machinery. Lights flickered weakly, and the occasional spark jumped from exposed wiring. Despite the danger, Eli smiled. "This is beautiful," he whispered to himself. "All it needs is a little human touch." He carried a toolkit strapped across his chest, filled with devices that looked like simple human tools but could perform miracles. He examined the main power core, a massive cylinder that hummed faintly despite being mostly dead. Its outer shell was cracked, wires hanging like broken veins. Even in this state, he could feel the potential. "This ship, it's not dead," he said. "It's sleeping." As he worked, the silence of the ship was broken by a soft vibration underfoot. The AI, or what remained of it. Most derelicts of this age had lost their artificial intelligences, left as empty shells. But this one was different. Eli's fingers danced across control panels, bypassing damaged circuits and rerouting power. Sparks flew, smoke hissed, but slowly, systems flickered to life. A voice echoed in the chamber. It was old, deep, and alien. "Who dares wake me?" The voice was not threatening, but proud, commanding. He smiled. "I'm Eli Voss. I fix things. You're not as dead as everyone says." There was silence. Then the voice spoke again, each word deliberate. "Human, why do you touch my body?" Eli chuckled softly. "Because you're too good to let rot in space. Besides, I like challenges." The AI hesitated, uncertain. Eli noticed the ship seemed to tense, as if alive, responding to his words. He had seen this before in old machines, but never one like this. It wasn't just intelligence. It was pride, memory, and will. He started inspecting the weapon systems next. The cannons were cold, rusted shut, and the missile bays were nothing but empty shells. But his human eyes saw patterns, systems, hidden under layers of decay. He removed broken circuits, rewired connections with wires from his own ship, and applied small bursts of energy. Slowly, one cannon responded, sliding along its track with a faint whir. "Not bad," he said, "one step at a time." Eli worked for hours, ignoring the hunger gnawing at his stomach and the chill that seeped through his suit. Every repair was a test of human ingenuity. Where alien engineers relied on protocols, Eli improvised. Where alien ships failed because of rigidity, humans succeeded because of adaptability. By the time he finished, a small part of the ship was alive. Life support hummed weakly, lights blinked steadily, and the AI stirred again. "You awaken the dead," it said, almost accusingly. "Why?" "Because I can," Eli replied simply. "Because someone had to." A sudden alarm flashed across the main display. Eli's head snapped toward it. External scanners detected movement, other ships approaching. Alien scavengers, opportunists hoping to claim the derelict for themselves. They had no idea the ship could fight. Eli smiled. They were about to learn something humans had known for centuries. Underestimate us at your own risk. He ran to the bridge, taking in the massive viewports that showed the alien ships closing in. He flipped switches, routing what little power he had to the shields and weapons. The cannons groaned, struggling against centuries of disuse. But they moved. "You're going to love this," Eli muttered to the AI. The alien ships didn't wait. They fired first, energy beams cutting through the void. Most hit the derelict's outer hull, punching holes but failing to cripple it. The AI's voice was tense, almost curious. "Human, what are you doing?" Eli tapped a few more controls, using a combination of old propulsion boosters and jury-rigged energy bursts. The derelict shifted suddenly, dodging some of the incoming fire. The aliens were shocked. Ships this size didn't move like this. "That's human engineering," Eli said with a grin. "We think outside the box." One of the alien ships fired a missile, closing in fast. Eli acted without hesitation, rerouting power to a defensive railgun he had repaired moments ago. It fired, a streak of light slamming into the missile, vaporizing it. The alien vessel spun, confused, unsure how a derelict could fight back. The battle was brief but revealing. Eli had proven something already. Humans could turn hopeless situations into victories through ingenuity, speed, and courage. The alien ships, seeing the derelict survive, slowed. They hesitated, unsure whether to attack or flee. Eli looked over the controls, sweat on his brow but excitement in his eyes. "You see? You're not just a heap of metal. You're alive, if someone knows how to wake you." The AI's voice softened, almost thoughtful. "I have not felt life in centuries," it said. "Perhaps you are different, human. You have no idea." He paused, staring at the stars through the massive viewport. The galaxy was vast, full of threats, wars, and creatures that saw humans as weak. Yet here he was, a single man on a forgotten ship, proving that humans could take what others abandoned and make it something greater. As the alien scavengers drifted away, unsure of what to do next, Eli continued his work. The ship groaned, responded, and slowly began to hum with life. Every wire he connected, every system he repaired, was a testament to human persistence. Hours passed, and the derelict transformed before his eyes. Engines flickered to life, shielding systems strengthened, and communication arrays hummed softly. The ship seemed to breathe, as if awakening from a long, deep sleep. Eli climbed to the bridge, looking at the massive console before him. He placed a hand on the controls and smiled. "We're just getting started." The stars outside were still cold and indifferent, but inside the derelict, life had returned. A human mechanic had touched a dying giant and sparked a flame that no alien power could ignore. Somewhere in the galaxy, the first whispers began. A human is aboard that ship, and it lives again. Eli didn't care about whispers yet. For now, he had a ship to repair, an AI to win over, and a universe full of possibilities to explore. One thing was certain: the galaxy was about to see what humans could do when they refused to accept defeat. And this was only the beginning. The derelict had awakened. Its engines hummed faintly, lights flickered steadily, and the AI, something that had slumbered for centuries, now observed Eli Voss with cautious curiosity. "You dare touch me, human," the voice rumbled through the bridge. It was deep, resonant, and ancient. "Why?" Eli smiled, hands resting on the console. "Because someone had to. Because I saw life where others saw death. And because I'm good at fixing things." The AI, RKL, as Eli learned it was called, paused, processing his words. "You are not like others. Others fear me or ignore me. You awaken me instead. Explain this." "I don't fear what I can understand," Eli said simply. "And if I don't try, I fail. Humans, we don't quit." RKL was silent, the ship vibrating softly around them, as if it approved. Eli felt a thrill run through him. He wasn't just repairing the ship. He was awakening it, forging a partnership no one thought possible, exploring the giant. The derelict was enormous, far larger than any human ship Eli had ever seen. Its corridors twisted like a labyrinth, filled with ancient panels, machinery, and weapon systems that defied human imagination. As he moved through the ship, Eli could feel the weight of its history. This vessel had commanded fleets, destroyed planets, and been feared across countless star systems. Yet now, it was dying, or at least it had been, until a human found it. Eli wandered into the central engine room, where massive turbines rested in silence. Broken conduits leaked plasma, arcs of energy dancing dangerously in the air. Other humans might have hesitated here. Eli grinned. Perfect. He began to work, patching broken circuits, rerouting power lines, and using scavenged components from his ship. Every move was risky. One wrong connection, and the entire reactor could blow. But Eli's fingers were steady, his mind sharp. Where alien engineers relied on protocol, he relied on intuition, creativity, and experience. By the time he finished, the engines coughed and roared. The hum of life returned to the ship, sending vibrations through the massive hull. Archael's voice echoed. "You bring me life," it said, almost reverently. "You, different." Eli shrugged. "I just know how to see what's inside. You needed someone like me. Ancient weaponry, human ingenuity." Next came the weapon systems. They were mostly destroyed, turrets rusted shut, missile bays empty, and energy cannons offline for centuries. Most beings would have given up, but not Eli. He climbed the gun deck, studying the alien designs. There was something elegant hidden beneath the decay. He began to rewire, replacing broken power cores with makeshift capacitors, combining alien energy conduits with human circuitry. The cannons groaned, sparks flying as they struggled to move for the first time in ages. "Come on, just a little more," Eli muttered, hands moving with precise speed. Slowly, one cannon rotated and fired a test beam into the empty void. It was weak, flickering, but alive. Archael was silent. The ship seemed to watch Eli, curious, human. You craft differently. You break rules, yet succeed. Rules are fine, until they get in the way of results. Alien scavengers, suddenly. Alarms blared. The external sensors picked up movement. Small ships approaching fast, armed to the teeth. Scavengers. Opportunists who thought the derelict was helpless, ripe for the taking. Eli moved quickly. He rerouted power to the ship's makeshift shields and the partially repaired weapons. "Looks like company," he muttered. "Let's see what you've got." The alien ships fired first, energy blasts tearing through the void. Most hit the hull, punching dents and leaving scorch marks. But the derelict didn't die. It groaned, trembled, and responded. Eli's improvised shields absorbed some hits, while the cannons groaned and swung into position. "You think this ship is dead?" Eli shouted into the comms. "Watch humans work." He fired the cannon, barely enough power to reach the scavengers. The beam hit one ship, cracking its hull and sending it spinning into the void. The other ships hesitated, shocked. Archael's voice rumbled, tinged with what sounded like amazement. "You use weak power with precision. Human strategy, strange, effective." Eli laughed. "We adapt. That's what humans do." The alien ships tried again, but Eli used the ship's movement systems, partially repaired engines, and some old boosters to dodge their attacks. The derelict, though broken, moved with a surprising speed and agility. The scavengers, confused and terrified, finally retreated. Eli let out a long breath. "Not bad for a first fight, huh?" Archael was silent for a moment. Then, almost softly, it said, "Human, you." Discovering the secrets after the battle, Eli explored the ship further. He found data cores, ancient logs, and maps of battles fought centuries ago. The ship had been a fleet commander, feared across the galaxy, yet here it was, nearly dead. He accessed the AI's memory banks, learning more about the war the ship had fought in. Entire planets had been destroyed under its command. Fleets had been annihilated, yet the technology, though advanced, was falling apart. Centuries of neglect had turned a mighty warship into drifting scrap. Eli understood. The galaxy feared humans because humans did not think like anyone else. They did not rely on perfection. They could improvise, adapt, and survive where others would fail. And that was exactly what he was doing now. taking a dying giant and making it stronger than anyone expected. The ship responds. As Eli repaired and explored, he noticed changes. The ship reacted to his presence, almost like it could feel him. Systems he hadn't touched began to stabilize. Energy readings improved. Lights brightened. Archael's voice, once cold and distant, became warmer, almost cooperative. "You heal me," it said. "You are persistent. I do not understand fully. Yet I'm human," Eli replied simply. "Persistence is kind of our thing." The AI seemed to consider this, then rumbled softly. "Perhaps humans are more capable than believed." Eli grinned. He liked the sound of that. The human advantage. Days passed in the derelict, though time felt strange in the silent vacuum of space. Eli worked tirelessly, repairing engines, reprogramming AI routines, and making small modifications. Every choice was human, creative, unexpected, and flexible. He discovered one section of the ship that had been sealed for centuries. Inside, he found weapon prototypes, ancient experimental devices designed for a war long forgotten. Most species would have ignored them, unsure how to activate them safely. Eli examined them, studied their designs, and began experimenting. With his human ingenuity, he rewired some to work with the ship's current systems. Slowly, he realized something incredible. He wasn't just repairing the ship. He was improving it. Adding human ingenuity to alien design created a hybrid of old power and new thinking, a combination no alien had thought possible. Archael, now fully awake but cautious, spoke with a mix of pride and uncertainty. "You change me, human. I do know if I should approve." Eli laughed. "Trust me, you'll like it. Just wait until they see us fight." A galaxy watching. Unbeknownst to Eli, the battle outside had drawn attention. Alien fleets from distant systems had detected the energy spikes, the sudden movement of a ship thought long dead. Whispers spread. A human is aboard that derelict, and it fights and survives. Across the galaxy, those who dismissed humans began to question their assumptions. Humans were small. Humans were fragile. Humans had never built fleets like theirs. But humans adapted. Humans could make life out of death. Humans could turn scrap into weapons. And Eli was proving it. A new challenge. One day, as he worked in the command center, the sensors detected something else. A massive ship, far larger than any scavenger or freighter, was heading their way. Its hull was sleek, black, and armored. This was no scavenger. It was a warship, the kind of ship that could crush an entire planet. Eli's eyes narrowed. "Looks like the real game is about to begin," he muttered. Archael's voice, now steady and commanding, filled the bridge. "Human, this vessel, formidable. You must prepare for battle." "Don't worry, I wasn't planning to run." And as the distant warship grew larger on the sensors, Eli felt that thrill he always felt before a challenge. This was what humans did best: face impossible odds and win. The derelict, now partially alive and partially human improved, seemed to shiver with anticipation. It was no longer a corpse drifting in space. It was awakening, and humans had awakened it. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming next. The black warship grew larger on the screen. It moved slowly, confidently, like a predator that already knew it would win. Its hull was smooth and dark, covered in heavy armor plates. Energy shields shimmered around it like a second skin. Eli Voss stood on the bridge of the ancient giant ship and stared at it. "Well," he said quietly, "that's not a scavenger." Archael's deep voice echoed around the bridge. It no longer sounded weak. It sounded awake. "That vessel belongs to the Carthan Dominion. They do not scavenge. They conquer." "Of course they do." The Carthan warship sent out a signal. "This vessel is claimed by the Dominion. Power down and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in destruction." "Yeah, that's not happening." Eli smiled slightly. "Yeah, that's not happening." Days ago, this place had been dark and silent. Now, lights glowed steadily. Panels hummed, screens flickered with data. The ship was not fully repaired, but it was no longer dying. It was becoming something new, preparing for war. Archael, Eli said, walking toward the main control console. Status report. Primary engines at 63%. Shields at 40% efficiency. Main cannons operational, but unstable. Experimental weapons unpredictable. Unpredictable is good. The Carthan ship began charging its weapons. Bright energy gathered along its sides. They're not going to wait, Eli said. You are outmatched. Archaeo replied calmly. That vessel is designed for fleet warfare. Eli cracked his neck. Good thing I don't fight like a fleet. The first blast came without warning. A massive beam of blue energy shot across space and slammed into the ancient giant. The entire ship shook violently. Sparks flew from panels. Warning alarms screamed. Shields dropping to 32%. Archael announced. Eli held onto the console but did not panic. Rotate the ship 15 degrees. Divert engine output to the lower shield grid. Now, the giant ship moved. Not smoothly, but quickly enough. The next enemy blast hit at an angle, spreading across reinforced armor instead of striking directly. Archaeo paused. That maneuver was not standard. Eli smirked. Standard gets you killed. Human tactics. The Carthan warship fired again. And, again, Eli didn't return fire immediately. Instead, he adjusted power flows, rerouted energy from unused sections, and allowed certain outer hull areas to take controlled damage. You sacrifice armor deliberately? Archael asked. Better the outside than the core. But behind it, Eli had already reinforced the inner layer with a redirected energy grid. The enemy expected a slow, dying target. Instead, the giant ship suddenly surged forward. Engine output at 75%, Archael reported, almost surprised. Eli had overclocked them. The massive ship accelerated far faster than its size suggested possible. The Carthan vessel adjusted, confused. No ship of this mass should move like this, Archael said. Human modifications, Eli replied calmly. Now he fired, but not with the main cannons. Instead, he triggered the small improvised turrets he had installed across the hull. They fired in rapid bursts, not to destroy, but to blind. The Carthan ship's sensor arrays sparked as small precision shots struck key points. You target systems, not hull, Archael observed. Can't break the armor? Break the eyes. The Dominion warship fired wildly now, its targeting disrupted. Eli used the moment. Charge main cannon, but don't fire at center mass. Where then? Archael asked. Eli zoomed the view onto the enemy ship. Right there, between shield emitters. That gap is minimal. Minimal is enough. The cannon charged. It shook violently. Warning lights flashed red. Stability at 40%, Archael warned. Fire. It hit the small gap Eli had spotted. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the enemy shields flickered, just for 1 second. But 1 second was enough. The unexpected evolution. Eli activated something new. The experimental weapon he had found in the sealed section. It was unstable, dangerous, untested. Archael's voice deepened. Human. That system was abandoned for a reason. Yeah, Eli said. Because no one thought crazy enough to use it. The device hummed loudly. Energy built up in a distorted pattern. It wasn't a beam. It wasn't a missile. It bent gravity. Space twisted slightly in front of the ancient ship. The Carthan vessel attempted to retreat. Too late. A pulse shot outward. Invisible, but powerful. It didn't explode. It warped. The space around the enemy ship distorted violently. Its engine struggled. Its hull creaked under pressure. What is this? The Carthan commander transmitted, panic in his voice. Eli leaned back in his chair. Improvisation. The gravity pulse crushed the enemy ship's shield grid entirely. Armor plates buckled. Systems overloaded. Eli didn't stop. Main cannons, full output. Archael responded instantly. The combined alien design and human rewiring unleashed a devastating blast. This time, it pierced the hull. The Dominion warship exploded in a burst of light and debris. Silence returned to space. Aftermath. The giant ship drifted, damaged but alive. Inside, systems flickered but held. Eli exhaled slowly. Well, that worked. Archael was silent for several seconds. Then it spoke. You defeated a Dominion warship with partial systems. Told you. We don't fight fair. There was something different in Archael's voice now. Respect. Human. I begin to understand. Your species survives not through superior power, but superior adaptation. Eli smiled. Exactly. But the celebration did not last long. Sensors began flashing again. Multiple signals. Dozens. Eli looked at the display and frowned. That's a lot of ships. Archael analyzed quickly. Dominion reinforcements. A full fleet. Cruisers, destroyers, carriers. Too many to fight directly, even for them. Okay, Eli said slowly. Time to get creative again. The living weapon. As the fleet approached, something strange happened inside the ancient ship. Systems Eli had not touched began activating. Hidden compartments opened. Additional weapon arrays extended from the hull. Archael's voice changed. Deeper, stronger. Human, your modifications have unlocked dormant combat protocols. Eli blinked. Wait, I did what? The ship is adapting to you. Energy surged through the entire vessel. Shields stabilized beyond previous limits. Weapons recalibrated automatically. The ship was learning. It was evolving, and it was doing so because of human influence. Eli stared at the screen, amazed. You're copying my tactics, he whispered. Yes, Archael replied. Efficiency improved by 32%. Hundreds of beams streaked toward them. Eli didn't dodge. He split power across the shield grid in rotating patterns, something no alien commander would attempt. The beams struck. The shield shimmered but did not break. The ship rotated, redistributing damage across multiple reinforced sections. Archael reacted instantly to Eli's thinking, adjusting before commands were spoken. They were no longer mechanic and machine. They were partners. Fear spreads. The Dominion fleet expected an easy victory. Instead, they watched in disbelief as the ancient giant moved like a living creature. It did not follow predictable patterns. It changed speed suddenly. It sacrificed certain areas to protect others. It fired in strange rhythms, targeting weak points across multiple ships. 2 cruisers exploded within minutes. A destroyer lost power and drifted. This is impossible, one Dominion officer whispered. No, their commander said quietly. It is human. The word spread through the fleet like a virus. Human, the species known for fragile bodies. The species mocked for smaller ships, now commanding a resurrected war machine. Cliffhanger. Despite the damage inflicted, the Dominion fleet was large, very large. Eli wiped sweat from his forehead. We can't win by brute force. Archael responded instantly. Then, what is your strategy? Eli zoomed out the star map. Behind the fleet was a dense asteroid field, an unstable one. He smiled slowly. We're not going to fight them. We are not? Nope, Eli said. We're going to make them fight themselves. The ancient giant ship turned, not away in fear, but toward the asteroid field. The Dominion fleet followed, confident. They believed the human was running. They had no idea he was leading them into a trap. As the massive ship entered the unstable field, asteroids shifted dangerously. Eli's fingers moved quickly across the controls. Let's show them, he whispered. What happens when you chase a human into chaos? And the asteroid field began to collapse. To be continued, the asteroid field stretched before them like a maze of jagged rock and spinning debris. The Dominion fleet, arrogant and confident, followed Eli Voss and the ancient giant ship as though victory was already theirs. Eli's hands moved over the console with the calm precision of someone who had been in impossible situations before. The derelict ship, now fully alive under his guidance, responded instantly. Archael's voice, deep and resonant, flowed through the bridge. "You intend to fight within the asteroid field?" Eli smirked. "Not fight. We're going to win in a way they'll never expect." Massive rocks spun unpredictably, chunks of ice colliding with debris, creating a chaotic environment. Most ships relied on shields and precise targeting. The Dominion's fleet assumed their numbers would allow them to adapt. They were wrong. Turning chaos into advantage, Eli guided the giant ship through the maze of rock. He had modified the engines to perform rapid bursts and sudden rotations. Where alien ships saw only a deadly mess, Eli saw opportunity. "Archael, focus energy on the outer hull," Eli ordered. "Use the deflectors to push asteroids. Target trajectory, not the fleet directly." The derelict's massive hull thrummed as energy pulses pushed massive rocks in unpredictable paths. A spinning asteroid collided with a Dominion destroyer. The shields flared, then failed. The ship shuddered as hull plates cracked. 2 o'clock, a Dominion officer shouted. "Adjust shields." Too late. Another asteroid, redirected by the derelict's energy field, smashed through the bridge of a cruiser. Alarms blared as the ship's internal systems failed. Eli grinned. "See that? Chaos is our friend." Archael's voice sounded almost impressed. "Human, your methods, adapt to environment, maximize effect. Remarkable. Humans don't just react, we use what's around us." Improvised weapons in action. Eli didn't rely solely on the derelict's ancient weapons. He had repurposed the ship's broken drones. Tiny, fast, and nimble, they darted into the asteroid field, launching improvised energy bursts and magnetic charges at the Dominion ships. The fleet had no idea what hit them. Every movement was anticipated. Every attack was unpredictable. The humans' combination of creativity, intuition, and sheer nerve turned a dangerous field into a trap. "Target their engines," Eli ordered. "If they can't move, the asteroids will finish them." Archael's massive energy cannons rotated with precision, firing at weak points in the enemy ship's armor. Smaller drones zipped around, intercepting missiles. Alien commanders screamed in frustration, but no formation could survive the chaos. A bold maneuver. Eli knew he couldn't destroy the entire fleet by raw force alone. He needed one decisive move. He scanned the asteroid field, searching for something massive enough to make a difference. There, a massive asteroid, larger than a small moon, drifted precariously at the center of the field. Eli smiled. "Archael, we're going to wake the giant," he said. "What do you mean?" "Disgaze and die." "That tax." "Tractor beams." "We're going to move that asteroid, and when it hits, it'll take out at least half their fleet." The derelict systems adjusted instantly. Tractor beams hummed. Massive energy flows wrapped around the rock. It shuddered as if awakening after centuries of slumber. The Dominion fleet noticed immediately. They began to fire at the asteroid, but their weapons were useless. The derelict shields protected it. Eli pushed power into the beams. Slowly, the massive rock began to move. "Now speed up!" he shouted. The asteroid surged forward, following a precise trajectory aimed at the largest group of Dominion ships, turning the tide. The fleet panicked. They tried to escape, but the field made movement difficult. The derelicts maneuvered like a predator among prey, dodging attacks while guiding the asteroid with surgical precision. The first collision was catastrophic. A line of cruisers erupted in a fireball that lit the void. Shattered hulls drifted among smaller rocks. The Dominion fleet's morale shattered instantly. Eli's human ingenuity shone brightest here. He combined the derelict's ancient power with his improvised tactics, turning the battlefield itself into a weapon. Every shot, every maneuver, every asteroid redirected was a human decision. Creative, daring, unpredictable. Archael's voice rumbled with awe. "Human, you turn environment into armament. Genius." Ellie laughed. "That's what humans do. We improvise, we adapt, we win." The dreadnought appears just when it seemed the battle was won. a new signal appeared on the sensors. A massive Dominion dreadnought, black as obsidian, bristling with weapons, and nearly indestructible, emerged from hyperspace. Eli's grin faltered slightly. "Well, hello there." The dreadnought fired a massive beam. The derelict shook violently. Entire sections of the asteroid field were vaporized. Smaller Dominion ships scrambled to follow it. "Archael," Eli said calmly, "it's time to take this to the next level." The AI's voice was steady. "Your strategy is risky, but effective. Proceed." Eli tapped into the experimental systems he had discovered: gravity manipulation, energy overcharge, and human improvisation. The derelict twisted, spinning in ways no ship its size should move. Energy pulsed from its hull, bending gravity slightly. The dreadnought's massive beam overshot, striking a cluster of asteroids Ellie had prepared. The resulting collision created a chain reaction, slowing the enemy ship. Humans outthink giants. The dreadnought attempted to retreat, but Eli had anticipated it. He guided the giant ship closer to the central asteroid, releasing drones carrying magnetic pulses. They latched onto the dreadnought, disrupting its navigation systems. The AI adjusted instantly. "Human, your tactics unpredictable. Effective. Unpredictable is our specialty." He charged the derelict's main cannon, targeting the dreadnought's weak point, a tiny gap between its reinforced energy plates. "Fire," Eli whispered. The beam shot out, piercing the dreadnought's armor. Systems overloaded. The massive ship convulsed under the attack, thrusters failing. For the first time, it was vulnerable. Victory, the Dominion fleet scattered in chaos. The smaller ships fled. The dreadnought, crippled, drifted helplessly. The ancient derelict, now fully awakened and enhanced by human ingenuity, stood dominant. Eli exhaled, his body relaxing for the first time in hours. "You okay?" he asked Archael. The AI's voice rumbled with respect and warmth. "Human, you have transformed me. You have proven the capability of your species. Extraordinary." Eli smiled. "We're just getting started." For the first time, he felt the truth of what humans could do in the galaxy. Not strength alone, not size, not technology. Humans survived through creativity, through ingenuity, through courage, through doing the impossible. Aftermath, the battlefield was silent now, littered with the wreckage of Dominion ships. The derelict floated calmly, fully repaired, its hull glowing with renewed energy. It was no longer a dying giant. Archael spoke softly, almost thoughtfully. "Human, you have made me more than I was. Together, we are formidable." Eli leaned on the console, gazing out at the stars. "That's the thing about humans. We see possibilities where others see death. We take what's broken and make it strong. That's who we are." Whispers spread through the Dominion fleets. Stories would be told. A human had taken a dead ship and made it the ultimate weapon. A species mocked for weakness had proven it could change the course of a battle through ingenuity alone. And Eli Voss? He looked at the massive ship, now alive and fully responsive, and smiled. "Ready for the next challenge?" he asked. Archael responded immediately. "Human, let us seek it together." And as the derelict ship accelerated into the void, heading toward unknown challenges, Eli knew one thing for certain: humans would never be underestimated again. The galaxy had just witnessed the rise of a new legend, one forged from courage, creativity, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. And this was only the beginning.